Welcome to Aspire to Retire. I'm your host, Cheryl Nelson. I'm here with Ralph and Tim Shore, along with Scott Earhart, all from Welcome Home Financial Partners. As always, a pleasure to see you guys.
Great to see you.
So on the show today, we lay the groundwork for a successful and fulfilling retirement journey. What are the essential strategies from financial planning to lifestyle adjustments, ensuring that your retirement years are not just secure, but truly rewarding? How do you guide clients through the vital steps to build a strong, sustainable foundation for your retirement dreams? Retirement journey, well, it's not just about saving, but about thriving in your later years. So let's dive right into this. What does it mean to lay a solid foundation for retirement, and why is that so crucial?
Well, it's important because if you think of a foundation, right? Look at a house. You can't have a home without a foundation, right? So income in retirement is going to be one of the key parts of the foundation of your retirement plan. So you've got to make sure that your expenses are going to be covered and do the things that you want to do. So income and emergency savings are two of the key components to the foundation.
And when is an ideal time, if it is ideal, to start thinking about and planning for retirement? You're probably going to say right now or yesterday. Yes,
Yesterday.
I knew it. I knew it. I've known you guys long enough.
For anybody that is thinking about retirement, whether you're 25, 35, 55, now is the time to start thinking about it and working with a financial professional to steer you in the proper direction. It might not be time to pull money out of 401ks or do anything like that, but it is time to start thinking about it and laying the foundation for that future retirement.
So I would also say you need to understand that if you have a certain amount of money that you would like to have when you retire, whatever that is, the earlier you start, the less you would have to save towards it. Because if you start 10 years to accumulate $1 million, it's going to take a lot more on a monthly savings program than if you did start it at age 20. Just understand that.
Yeah, very true. And how do you envision your retirement lifestyle, though? And why is that so important to define this early? I mean, I think, my retirement, I want it to be somewhere where I can travel and I have the funds to do things like that. But I mean, I guess everybody has a different vision, right?
Yeah, I mean, Scott's is completely different than yours.
What's his?
His is playing golf 7 days a week and always.
Look at you.
So that's a key point that you bring up. Everybody is different.
Okay.
So how do you envision your retirement? We can't tell you that. You're going to have to determine that. And that's the only person that really matters as far as we're concerned, is what are your desires besides your spouse.
Yeah.
And your spouse plays a very important part of this, whether you like to admit it or not.
Yeah, but let's say you envision it one way and then health problems or maybe grandkids or something else pops up, and then it's totally different than what you planned for.
And I thought you were going to say, what if your envision was completely different than your spouse, which
Well,
is
that
probably
could be too,
possible.
yes.
Well, to your point, health concerns or material changes in lifestyle are going to happen. So the key to, even though we envision it this way, you need to have a plan in place that's prepared to fund it should it go down a different fork in the road. And that's certainly what the roadmap can help with, is understanding how much you have in funds. And we could fund the 7-day-a-week golf, but when I can't do that and I just get to sit on my front porch with my dogs, I've got the money to take care for myself as well.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your desires are. Everything is going to take and require income, right? So you brought up about health. What if instead of now 7 days a week playing golf, now we're only doing it 3 because we can't do it because of our health?
Right.
If you need health care, if you need somebody to take care of you, that's still going to require income. So you've got to make sure, regardless of what life throws at you, that you're going to have that solid foundation that we're speaking about of the income in retirement.
And we need to stop talking about not playing golf 7 days a week, because it's just happening. It's just
You're going to have nightmares
It's
now.
just happening.
See, I told you.
I know. I didn't realize that. But do you travel around the different courses, or do you have a special one favorite?
All of the
above.
All of the above.
All right, good to know. So factors like that, golf, travel, hobbies, or even relocating, how else does that affect your retirement needs? And what if, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to live here and settle and retire here, live here forever, and then boom, they pick up and move to another state to be near their grandkids. That's not something they plan for.
Well, when we talk about the factors, relocation, hobbies, anything that we want to do there, we need to be able to fund it. So being able to identify what those are, even if it's a maybe, ensuring that we've got the dollars set aside to make that maybe possible is absolutely crucial. And to Ralph's point from earlier, the earlier we identify those and start saving towards those goals, the easier they are to obtain.
Well, I didn't think we would need money when we retired because it all comes from, the government and stuff, from Social Security. So are you telling me that we need something besides the Social Security for our retirement if you're planning on traveling and things like that?
I am absolutely telling you that, and I am really happy for your sarcasm.
I love that. I know, Ralph. That was great.
But there's a lot of things that come up when you talk about relocating that we don't account for, right? Because let's look at the last couple of years, what we've had to live through. Skyrockets. The interest rates have skyrocketed, right? So now, if you were going to go to the beach, let's say, and you were going to purchase a $500,000 home or $1 million home, it's going to be a lot more expensive now than it was 2 years ago. So those are things that you have to take a look at. But on the same token is that everything, once again, is going to require income. So no matter what your desires are going to be, you've got to make sure it's there.
Yeah, definitely want to make sure about that. And so when we're talking about interest, you mentioned interest rates going up. What about the concept of compound interest and its impact on retirement savings?
Well, what I would say to you is compound interest is just interest upon interest. So the more interest that you make, the better off you are. So I will say it to you this way. We hear a lot of people come in that says, I don't understand why we can't make more money on our CDs like we did in the 80s when we were making 15 to 18%. I said, well, think about it this way. Even if it's today, it's a lot better than it was a year ago. But think about it. In the 80s, our interest rates on our mortgage were what? 18% for most people. So now all of a sudden, we're talking 3 to 5%. That's not bad interest on a mortgage today versus back then.
It's hard to think about it like that, but you're right, it was like that. And CDs, if you were to put money in a CD now, is that rate locked in? Is now a good time to do that, by the way?
It's going to be locked in for whatever term you purchase it at, but understand, unless it's in a qualified plan retirement account, you're going to have to pay taxes on whatever interest you earn, whether it's 1% or 10%, you're going to have to pay taxes on that. So basically what that does is reduces that amount of money that you gain as interest.
Gosh, all this tax. And then we're talking about also, you can put your money in a 401k, an employer-sponsored retirement plan. What are the benefits of that?
Well, usually the companies are going to match, right? So if you put in 3%, they could match you 3%. A lot of companies now will do that. Sometimes they don't, though, and you have to be on the lookout for that. So you can contribute with your 401k, that's the most that you can contribute to. IRAs are a little bit less. So there are a lot of things that you got to pay attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we've got to take a break, but before we do that, tell us about our special offer, Tim.
Absolutely. So the first 10 callers who have saved $250,000 or more for retirement, pick up the phone, give us a call at 833-897-4845. We'd love the opportunity to bring you into the office where we can talk about these things and create your very own retirement plan just for you. And Cheryl, the best part is we do it on a complimentary basis.
Love that. We're going to open up those phone lines right now. So once again, if you'd like some personal advice, give us a call or take your phone and scan that QR code on the bottom of the screen. Coming up next, we will explain the difference between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. Stick around.
Imagine the future you've been wanting all along. A world where your retirement income is covered and you don't have to worry. Your financial assets are protected, and you have an experienced team fighting every day to grow your assets. Imagine a company creating tax strategies and legacy plans to make sure your loved ones are protected no matter what happens. At Welcome Home Financial Partners, we're an experienced financial team with the right professional licenses and an unbreakable commitment to making our clients feel like family. Here you'll find determined, friendly faces in a world filled with obstacles and problems. We help plan your retirement income to ensure you won't run out of money in retirement. We build in protection to make sure your assets are covered on all sides. We focus on growing your wealth to combat inflation and rising cost of living. And we design tax strategies to help you avoid paying back what you shouldn't while protecting the people you love. our team never stops fighting for you. With an unparalleled work ethic, we work hard because we know your future depends on it. We're proud to help you choose the life you want to live in retirement. Welcome to your financial future. We're so glad you're here.
Welcome back to Aspire to Retire. We've asked you guys to call in with your questions, and we love it. So, Tim, what can our viewers expect for being a caller on today's show?
So if they call in from today's show, there's a package that we send out to them. Inside here, we'll have some more information about us and some information that we want to see for the first appointment. And then once they come into the office, we'll sit down with them, figure out their goals and aspirations for retirement, and then formulate a plan based off of that.
I like to call her a little goodie box.
Little goodie box.
Yeah, you won't know what's in it until you call and you get one. So there you go. It's a little teaser for you. Okay, diving back into retirement, we're talking about planning. I know we talk about diversification a lot. Why is that so important when you're talking about your retirement?
Well, diversification in retirement is so important to ensure that we keep our retirement funds. As Tim has alluded to multiple times in the show already, you know, the basis of income, or the basis of retirement, is income. We've got to have the dollars to fund our retirement. Well, if we aren't diversified and something happens to one of our investments, something bad happens, and our income goes away, guess what? We're not retired anymore. We've got to go back to work. So having a diverse portfolio, multiple different options to generate income for you in retirement will ensure you can do what you want in your retirement years.
So Scott, are you saying that your quarterly statements from your 401k is not your plan, retirement plan?
I thought that was the retirement
You
plan.
guys are so funny. Look
I
at
totally thought that was.
sarcasm.
You don't need to do anything. Yeah, it is only a statement. That is not your plan. That is not what is going to help you drive it forward. So beyond just opening those up, or as Cher does, putting them in the shredder,
Yeah,
you need
I
to
know,
talk to
right.
someone like
Yes.
us that can help you understand what's there and how to utilize that to best achieve your retirement
Yes,
goals.
because it's almost like those letters are in a different language. I don't know what they're saying and what they mean, so I just shred them. But that's why I need to call somebody like you, because you're professionals and you understand that lingo. So, all right, so some ways you can save. We've got IRA, we've got Roth IRA. What's the difference?
Well, the thing that you need to understand is one of them is taxable when you pull the money out, the other one may not be, okay?
Okay.
So traditional means that is a traditional IRA is pre-tax, so you have not paid taxes on it when you put the money in. So
okay.
you could take it off your income tax, okay? Or off your taxable income. A Roth means that you put in money with after-tax money, you've already paid taxes on it, so when you pull it out, you won't have to pay tax on the principal that you take out. So that's the biggest difference. One is taxable when you pull it out, one of them may not be quite as taxed.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And you have to play by the rules, right? So as long as you play by the rules, you'll reap the benefits of what those vehicles are designed to do. But we had a question one time from the show. Somebody asked how we get rid of taxes. Well, we're not going to be able to get rid of taxes. It's either going to be before or after. And really, the best thing is, going back to diversification, is you've got the flexibility there, right? So if we have a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA, and we get into retirement, and all of a sudden our tax brackets dramatically increase, it was a really good thing that we've got diversification, because now we've got tax-free money to a point, and then you've got taxable money. So you've got to make sure that you do that.
When you say play by the rules, though, are there specific rules for a Roth IRA? What
Yeah.
are they?
So each one of them is going to fall in the 59.5 rule,
Okay.
right? And then also on top of that, with the Roth IRA, you have to wait a maximum of 5 years. So if you were 58 when you started it, you've got to go 5 years, even though you're after 59.5.
Without a penalty.
Is it
Right.
also, though, if you make a certain amount of money, you can't?
Yeah, and there's limitations.
Okay.
When we talk about these vehicles, it's very good to have the in-person conversation, because if we say, hey, we're looking at doing a Roth, maybe a Roth IRA, maybe even a Roth conversion from your 401k, those are very specific details that we go over.
And the other thing I would say to you at this point, because a lot of people think that we've been told all our lives, working lives, when you retire, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket. Well, guess what? Probably not. Because if we have clients that are making more money now in retirement because of pensions, Social Security, and your RMDs from your traditional 401k or IRAs, than they were when they were working. So you might be in a higher tax bracket because you're making more money. And taxes always depends on your income, how much you make, not your age. So a lot of people think, right, Scott, that when I turn 65 and retire, I don't have to pay taxes. No.
Now, do you have to pay taxes on Social Security income?
It depends on how much you're making from other sources. yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, most people will. It just, we don't really know exactly until you sit down and you work through it.
Everybody's different, and that's
Everybody's
the thing.
different.
Every client who you meet with has a different roadmap and different information. So, I mean, this question then, how much should one aim to contribute annually to these accounts? I know you're going to say it depends, right?
Well, it depends, but didn't mean to cut you off there. But when you've got 401ks, IRAs, Roth IRAs, there's maximums that you can contribute to. So for most people, it's let's diversify how you're making your contributions to, but the more that you can save, the better off you're going to be. But there's also tax situations that come into play too.
Absolutely there are. I'm working with a great couple that they're a little bit younger and they're starting for their retirements. Both have good 401ks. So the advice is to contribute maximum to those 401ks. And then we established last year a traditional IRA for her and a Roth IRA for him. And they both contributed to that. And the plan is next year we will establish a traditional IRA for him and a Roth for her. And this will ultimately, as they contribute to it, it'll give them options as to where to contribute. And then when they retire, it's going to give them options on where to distribute from.
And the other thing I would say to you is this: most people need to put in as much as they can afford to, but maximum to what their employer is going to put into it. But the other thing is this: if you're receiving a raise next year and you've survived off of what you've been contributing, put that raise in there, because that's not going to hurt you from a cash flow standpoint. It's just going to make it better for you later down the road.
Yeah, that's good to know. And then we also hear about emergency funds. Why is it so important to have one of those?
Because life happens.
Yeah.
Emergencies happen all the time, whether it's a big emergency or whether it's a small emergency. You've got to make sure that you've got money sitting in an emergency account for when life happens.
No,
Don't you agree?
yeah, absolutely do. And there's all sorts of vehicles you can use. It could be at the bank, it could be in an investment account of some type, but certainly have a number and work through a budget. Do something like the roadmap. Understand what you would need and what you would desire in that emergency fund, and then create it. Let's get it there. Let's get it where you can access it.
Right.
And
That's something I was gonna, sorry to cut you off there. That's I was gonna ask with the emergency fund. Do you want that easily accessible? Like,
Absolutely.
Do you want it in a safe in the bank, and you're in a hole in your backyard? I mean, where do you want it?
I wouldn't put in a hole in the backyard.
So a couple in the wall, in the hole in the backyard, there is no money tree. If you bury it, Cheryl, it will not grow a tree. So no, in a bank, in an institution, but where you could get at it within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. It is time once again for a commercial break, but before we go, Tim, once again, our special offer.
All right, so the first 10 callers who have saved $250,000 or more for retirement, pick up the phone, give us a call, 833-897-4845. We'd love the opportunity to bring you into the office and where we can create these retirement income strategies for you, or even just a second opinion. But the best part is, Cheryl, we'll do it on a complimentary basis.
All right, keep those questions coming. Take advantage of our professionals. Call right now or scan that QR code on the bottom of your screen. And coming up next, we will feature some of your burning questions. Don't go away.
It was the longest running bull market in history. Everything was looking up. While inverted yield curves pointed to a recession, the market kept going. And then, if you're planning to retire soon, that could spell bad news for your returns. Our team can help you better withstand the bear market. Now more than ever, you need a financial professional to stand with you. Visit our website to learn more about our services. You can call or email our office to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Welcome back to Aspire to Retire, where we are not planting money in our backyards. Don't do that. I hear it can grow mold, so don't do that, okay? Put it in a bank or call these guys. It's our favorite part of the show. Time to feature some of your burning questions, and we're going to start with Gary from Colonial Heights. Gary says, I am 5 years away from retirement. I have not changed anything in my 401k since I started working for my company 32 years ago. What should I focus on right now?
Well, you got to make some changes, right? So when you're entering retirement, it's going to be a different phase of your life than when you started working 32 years ago. So we've got to make sure that we align your investments with your risk tolerance, time horizon, those kinds of things. But a lot of people are in that predicament of where they haven't rebalanced their 401k ever, right? So you're in a different stage of life. Your investments need to correlate with your stage of life.
Okay, good answer. Next up is Tammy from Goochland. Tammy says, fortunately, my company still offers a pension. Lucky you. And I feel as though I have done a good job with saving inside of my 457 account. Now, could you guys help me with my peace of mind for retirement? By the way, what's a 457 account?
It is a tax deferred account just for specific industry, for basically government.
Oh, good to know. All right.
Okay. So the thing I would say, most definitely we can help you, but we need to know a lot more about what you're trying to do. But to give you peace of mind, we can create those income streams that you can utilize the best way for your retirement that you have chosen. Correct?
And come into the office because you're going to have a decision to make on your pension, and nobody's going to give you that advice. You've got to seek the guidance.
Yep. All right. Bobby from West Point says, how do I know how much risk is in my investment portfolio? Can you help me uncover this and put me into something that matches my retirement goals?
Well, Bobby, either one of two things is happening there. Either you've been doing your investment on your own and you didn't quite understand what you were doing, or you're working with a financial professional that's not communicating with you very well. So what I would tell Bobby is scan the QR code or give us a call. Let's set up a time to sit down. And what we're going to do is analyze Bobby, and we're going to talk about what is he comfortable with, what are his triggers, what level of risk does he want, and then ensure that whatever he's in matches that level of risk.
The other thing I might say to that, Scott, is this. He might be working with somebody that's in a big box situation company, and they don't know what he wants to do, his investment goals, his risk tolerance, because all they know is say, oh yeah, put money here with us and we'll take care of it, don't worry about it. But it's a lot more to this retirement planning than just that.
Are you saying that retirement isn't one size fits all?
Last time I checked, that's my thing.
We're going back to the sarcasm
The
here.
sarcasm on the show today. What's with you guys? I love it. All right, Catherine from Fredericksburg says, I've watched your show for a while. Thank you, Catherine. And I want to take advantage of your generous offer. If I call today and set an appointment, can I take advantage of your second opinion that you offer? Good question.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for, is to help you as fiduciaries understand what your goals are and match that to get you to where you want to be. That's our job. The only way we can do that is either scan the code or give us a call. Get you to come in and sit down and talk with us.
And as Tim always says, we do it on a complimentary basis. We don't charge fees to get our second opinion, or we don't charge fees to come in and meet with us. We're there to help people understand what they have. If we can help, we will make suggestions.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and Catherine, you're not the only one in that position, because there's a lot of people that we see that come into the office who might work with an advisor, might work with a big box company, and they don't even know what they have, right? So they sit it down, and a lot of times they'll take the papers and statements and slide them over to us and say, can you please help me? I have no idea what I'm doing. But I've worked
Exactly.
with this person for 20 years, I just don't know what's happening.
Right, and what I love about you guys is, like you said, there's no strings attached, so that you shouldn't have fear to call or scan that QR code and set up a meeting, because you guys are here to help and say, all right, what can we do for you?
Well, one thing I would say, I had a customer come in, a client came in for a first meeting, and I looked at her and I said, are you okay? And she goes, I didn't get any sleep last night. I'm like, well, why? She said, because I'm so scared, because I've never done this before. And she said she started kind of tearing up and crying, and I'm like, you don't have to worry about it. We're not going to push papers and you sign off. We need to figure out what it is that you're trying to do. So there are people like that that's never done this before, and it is scary.
It's for sure, yeah, I
and,
know.
And also, too, to that point, is it's not a one meeting thing most of the time. It's not, hey, this is what I have, what can we do? Well, we need to gather up the information. We have to do our job and we've got to make sure that we've got all the data gathering done. And then the second meeting's more about, hey, this is what you're looking like, this is what we would recommend. But like you say, there's no strings attached.
Yeah. And don't be embarrassed either, because I know that some people probably come in, they're like, oh my God, I'm embarrassed, I haven't done anything. But you've seen it all, so there's nothing to be worried about, right?
Yeah, there's nothing to be worried about. And you need to not worry about benchmarks in the market. Don't worry about what your neighbor or your brother-in-law is doing.
Yeah.
You need to focus on what's right for you.
Okay. Tony from the Fan says, is there a way to protect my money from large losses like in 2008 and the bank failures we've seen recently? It seems like once I take one step forward, I take 2 steps back. Please help me.
Tony, there's a lot of ways to protect against big losses, big dips, potential recessions, whatever we want to call it. There are certainly many vehicles out there that could help you do that, but we need to understand you, where your dollars are, what your goals are, where you're at in life before we could make those recommendations. So I'd certainly say yes, we can help.
Okay, and one more. Robert from Chester says, I'm already retired and my current advisor has not changed anything in my portfolio for the last 10 plus years. Sometimes I'm concerned that he's not the proper advisor for me anymore because I'm now in retirement and I'm not saving for retirement. Yikes.
Yeah, and that's a big red flag. If you have an advisor currently and there is no changing throughout the years, there could be an issue there. So we pride ourselves with communication with the clients because their goals and their desires that we talk about all the time for retirement could change along the line. So we've got to make sure that we rebalance things in order for them to achieve their goals.
And do you know if he's really still in the business? If you hadn't heard from him in 10 years.
Ooh, that's a good point too. So always do your homework there. All right, we're about to wrap up the show for today, but before we do, Tim, you know what I'm going to say. Our special offer once more.
Thank you,
and I made him
Cheryl.
smile.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So the first 10 callers who have saved $250,000 or more for retirement, pick up the phone, give us a call, 833-897-4845. We'd love to bring you into the office where we'll talk about these topics and also create your very own retirement roadmap just for you. And the best part is we do it on a complimentary basis.
Yeah, complimentary. Well, guys, thanks for joining us today. As always, love it, and thank you for watching us today on Aspire to Retire. Next time, we will explain how to craft a retirement plan that's right for you, because everybody's different. If you'd like some advice, give us a call right now or scan that QR code on the bottom of your screen. On behalf of all of us at Aspire to Retire, I'm your host, Cheryl Nelson. Have a great day.